welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of a session I had at Boston Billiards in Nashua, New Hampshire a couple weeks ago. A lot of funny hands and great action, and yeah, let's just get right into it.
This hand's about halfway through the session. If you haven't watched the first part, go watch it. It's called Heater Part 1. That makes this video Heater Part 2. What's the best hand to start Part 2 of a heater with? That's right, Ace-Queen offsuit. I'm in middle position, there's a limp, and I raise to $18. 3 people behind make the call, as well as the original limper. I despise these multi-way pots. They're not fair, they're not right, and they're not just. That being said, they're not all bad when the flop comes ace, 3, deuce, 2 clubs. The limper checks to me, and I continue for a bet of $30. Then a miracle happens. Only one player in late position makes the call. Off to a turn, and it comes an offsuit 10. This board is pretty dicey, I'm not going to lie. I'm mostly concerned with ace rag hands that somehow have a 2-pair on this board. These 1-3 gremlins love to play ace rag, despite all the negative implied odds that they offer. I still only have 1 pair, albeit a good one, but I decide the best course of action is just to go into check call mode. Pot controlling in these multi-way pots is super important because it's almost impossible to put your opponents on a reasonable range. After I check, he checks back. So him having a 2-pair wouldn't make a lot of sense. The river comes at 8 of hearts, so the club draw bricks out. I think betting or checking makes sense here. The pros of betting is I can get value from hands like ace-jack, ace-9, ace-7. But the cons is that I could be value owning myself against ace-deuce, ace-3, ace-10, stuff like that. The pros of checking is that I get to pot control, and I can call a small, medium, even like 3/4 pot size bet. And if he does show up with some rat 2-pair, I don't lose too much. Checking also gives him a chance to bluff with misdraws. In the end, I decide to just check. He quickly checks back. I show my ace-queen, and we're obviously good. Next hand, I'm in the small blind, and the cutoff opens to $18. I look down at ace-3 of diamonds. Calling in the small blind doesn't really exist in any reasonable poker strategy, so I have 2 options. A, fold, wait for a better hand, or B, stick in an epic 3-bet bluff against an opponent that I've seen play passively all day. I'm sure you guys already guessed what I did. I put in $45, it folds to him, and he makes the call. Get a load of this flop. 8, 7, 3, 2 diamonds. You guys have probably figured out by now that I love sets, but know what else I love? Pair and flush draw flops. The possibilities are absolutely limitless. Plus you get that rush, drawing to a better hand. I have at least 50% equity against almost any holding. And here's a poker lesson. If you have more than 50% equity, you want to pile as much money as you possibly can into the middle. That's exactly what I do when I lead for $40. The cutoff makes the call, and we're off to a turn, which comes pretty nice. It's the ace of hearts. When I saw this flop, I knew the run out would not let me down. It didn't. The ace of hearts is maybe the most perfect card in the deck to get paid. I can now milk the shit out of big ace high floats like ace queen and ace king. Plus, now I can improve to not only a flush, but a full house as well. This truly epic turn card deserves a bet, and I give her what she deserves, to the tune of $100 US. And the cutoff snap folds. You can see the disappointment in the way I took back my $100 bet. When I saw that ace, I was 100% sure I was going to stack this dude. I was going to text my girlfriend, tell her about this epic hand, and how she made the greatest decision of her life dating me. Instead, I have to reply to her "how is poker going" text by saying, "Oh, it's good, having a good session." Instead of telling her I'm going to buy her a giant-ass iPad. This fold hurt my soul dearly. New poker lesson, don't get too excited. Don't get too ahead of yourself, because it only leads to disappointment. Thank you. All right, strap in for this hand. It's definitely the hand of the session. That means it's the hand of a 2-part video YouTube experience. Under the Gun limps and Under the Gun 1 makes it $13. Two Rascals call the 13. So now I'm priced in to call with just about any 2 cards. 6-5 offsuit, fuck it, good enough for me. I stick in the call, and the limper does as well. Off to a flop, which comes 10, 3, 4 rainbow. I check, the limper checks, and the preflop aggressor makes it $17. A middle position player makes the call, and the button folds. When it gets to me, I think I have a slam dunk check raise opportunity. The preflop aggressor should never really be strong in this board, unless he has pocket 10s or an overpair. There are way more combos in his preflop opening range that don't connect with this flop at all. Stuff like King Queen, Ace Jack, Ace King. Whereas I have sets, 2 pairs, and really strong stuff just calling out of the big blind. Combine this with the fact I have 8 outs twice, I think a check raise is a really cool play. Plus, from what I've seen the last couple hours, he seems like a solid reg who understands all of this and also has the ability to fold. What I failed to take into account is the crazy Asian dude to my left who snap calls my $50 check raise. I got the desired result though, kind of. The preflop aggressor folds, and then middle position makes a double flat calling my check raise. I'm sure you guys can see how this could get out of hand. The turn is the king of clubs. We don't hit one of our outs, but I think this is actually a really good card to barrel on. When middle position double flats, it seems very likely he's holding a 10, so he's going to hate this card. As for the crazy Asian guy to my left, there's really no telling what he's going to do, but if I can get one player to make the fold, it'd be a huge win going into the river. I size to $80. Crazy Asian guy to my left makes the call, and the middle position player folds. This pot is already incredibly bloated, and I start praying for a deuce or a 7. It does not come, however, when the 9 of hearts peels off. Now I start to reflect on this massive punt that I just made. I'm in disbelief that I'm about to punt off all the profit I made over the last couple hours, running really well. I look over to my opponent's stack, and he has about $300 left. I have 6 high, and certainly can't win with that. So I know what I have to do. I have to nut up and jam for around a pot-sized bet and pray to God he folds. Right before I go and reach for chips, he picks up his cards and mucks out a turn. Easily one of the best feelings I've ever had in poker. I'm just in complete shock. I cannot believe he did that. He taps the table, indicating nice hand, and I sheepishly tap back, thinking, dude, you're my favorite poker player that I've ever played against. After reflecting on the hand, it seems like he had 6-5 as well, or maybe ace deuce or ace 5. Either way, I'll remember this hand for a long time. I actually texted my coach about this hand, and here's his take. If you're really trying to take your game to the next level, you need people like this to bounce ideas off of. I seriously don't know where my game would be without these insights. Just super grateful someone like this has my back. Alright, this next hand's pretty good. There's an early position open to $12. Folds to me, and I make the call with 6-4 of hearts in the cutoff. The big blind calls as well, and we're 3 ways to a flop, which comes king, 9, 5, 2 hearts. Early position C bets for $17. I got a flush draw. I'm obviously not going anywhere. Can't raise because he has a ton of king X opening in early position. That leaves one option. I call, and the big blind folds. Turn's pretty awesome. It's a 7 of diamonds. Now I have an open ender as well. Early position actually checks this card, which gives me the green light to go for a turn bluff. I make it $55, which I think is actually a little big here. If I had a king, I'd probably bet like 30 or 35. So I want to do that when I'm bluffing with 6 high. It doesn't really matter though. He folds pretty quickly, and we're on to the next hand.
That's why people say it's so expensive to go, but once you're there...
Alright, rapid hand history. I'm under the gun. I make it $15 with pocket 5s. Could probably fold under the gun, but don't care. I get 3 callers, or 4 ways to a flop, which comes ace, 7, deuce, 2 spades. Big blind checks, and I C bet for $20. Everyone folds. I get free money. Let's go. A few hands later, I pick up the pocket rockets on the button. There's a limp to me, and I make it $15. The small blind and limper both make the call. Off to a flop, which comes queen high. It checks to me, and I continue for a bet of $20. Both players make the call, and the turn is scary. It's the jack of hearts. Now queen jack improves to 2-pair, and there's a bunch of draws on this previously dry board. For these reasons, I size up to $65. Funny enough, if I face a raise, I probably just have to fold. Nobody in the history of 1-3 has ever check raised a turn with less than 1 pair. I'm just hoping for a call or two and then a clean river that I can value bet. It doesn't come to that, both players fold, and I flash my pocket nuts.
Of this style of free, but I got
It's time for a double board bomb pot. If you don't know what that is, it's where everybody puts $15 in the middle and you go blindly to 2 flops called the top board and the bottom board. The strategy is to flop the nuts on one board and pile your bankroll into the middle. However, if you don't flop the nuts, just throw your cards away. Believe me, it's not worth it. I'm dealt pocket 4s, and I'm sure you guessed, I'm using the no set, no bet strategy. Looks like there will be betting when the top board comes 3, 4, 5, 2 diamonds, and the bottom board comes 8, 7, 5 with 2 diamonds as well. It checks to me in the cutoff, and I bet $30. But GTO Jason, you said if you don't have the nuts, don't bet. What if somebody has ace deuce or 6-7? Then you're freaked. Shut up. I flopped a set. That means I have the nuts. That's GTO. Learn it. The button calls my $30 bet. So does someone in early position. And the hijack does as well. The turn on the top board is a 5 of diamonds, giving me a full house and also completing the front door flush. And the turn on the bottom board is a 9 of hearts. Action checks to me, and I go for another bet. Despite the fact there's one combo of 5-4 that could possibly be beating me. I make it $125 to go, and this time only the hijack makes the call. At this point, the hijack actually checks in the dark. Don't really have any analysis or anything on that, but it happened, so I thought I'd let you guys know. River on the top board's a brick, and the bottom board peels off the 6 of diamonds, putting it straight on the board and also completing the front door flush draw. Action's immediately on me, and I decided to just bet $200. He had like 500 left. I don't know. I think the move is just to rip it here. I either want him to call a really large bet and we're splitting the bottom board, or have him fold a 10 on the bottom board thinking I rivered 2 flushes. That way I could scoop the entire pot. I don't know. Bomb pots are crazy. He doesn't think for too long and folds a 6. So that river counterfeited a straight and also brought in a flush that now beats him. So I don't blame him for folding. That's how you know you're running good. When you take down an entire bomb pot, you know that this is just the session sent from the poker gods to reignite your love for the game. Shortly after this bomb pot, we pick up a hand which, by many metrics, is supposedly pretty good. Jack of clubs, jack of spades. The low jack opens to $10, and I 3-bet him to $45 next to act and the hijack. Folds around to the original raiser, and he makes the call. He only has about $130 left, so stack to pot ratio is already really small heading into the flop. The flop comes 9-4-3, all diamonds. The low jack checks. I continue for a small bet of $35, and the low jack check jams for his remaining $100. I obviously stick in the money. If he flopped a flush or a set, good for him, but most likely he just has the ace or king of diamonds and wants to get the money in while he still has equity. Board runs out clean, and my opponent shows ace, king offsuit with the ace of diamonds. Pretty much the exact hand I put him on. Me and GTOJ hit Chili's on the way back. We talked about this hand, and Jay goes, I'm pretty sure ace king is actually favored there on the flop, but I thought jacks were favored by a percent or two. Long story short, we bet the tab on the equities, and this is the result. So yeah, lost half the money I made on this hand to fucking beer and chicken fingers. Such is the D-Gen life. Alright, let's finish this vlog with one of the poker god's favorite sons, ace king suited on the button. It's kind of funny how much I hate pocket jacks, but still love ace king. Like, they both kind of have the same pros and cons, but for some reason, when I see ace king, I'm ready to put my entire life roll into the middle. When I see that it's suited, I'm ready to take out a loan to put even more money into the middle. Early position opens to $15. and I size to $60 for my inevitable 3-bet. It folds back to him, and he jams for about $180. I snap it off, as I'm never folding ace-king pre-flop for less than 100 big blinds. I have my entire retirement to do that, so while I'm still young, I put the money in the middle. The flop comes 8 high, but with 2 clubs, so I effectively have the nuts with a flush draw and 2 overs. Turn disappoints me greatly when it's the 10 of hearts, and the river disappoints me even more when it's the 3 of diamonds. Early position flips over ace-king offsuit. After running pure all day, I feel kind of insulted there's no club on the river, but I can't be too upset with the chop pot after pretty much everything has gone my way. Shortly after, I decide to just rack up and book a really solid win. This week's featured commenter is Rafael Perez. Seriously, I appreciate all the support you guys have given me in my first 3 videos. It means a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Even leave a comment if you're feeling up to it. Thanks again. I'll see you guys next week.